In my last video, I completely forgot to talk about what happens if they don't release Daima. Because honestly, I can see Daima being held for something more like, let's say, Tanabata, which both Global and JP should be celebrating. Or dare I say, maybe Daima is a worldwide download celebration thing. If that's the case, then Golden Week, which we still have no info for, by the way, um, Golden Week would probably end up being something else unless they do like Daima now and Daima later, which I also don't see that as a possibility. So the question is, what would you like to see if we don't get Daima for Golden Week? Me personally, I feel like with the introduction of the Super Saiyan 3 that goes into Super Saiyan 4 Goku, and with the EZA, semi-recent EZAs for these two Chads and the anniversary EZA for this GOAT right here, I feel like GT, at least the super class side of GT, if we're being real, is definitely on a really good path to having like a really solid, like really solid team. On the other hand, the extreme class characters here are terrible. We really don't have many You cannot wake up and say, "Hey, I want to run an extreme class GT team and be successful in any kind of form of content," which many would try to challenge me on. Which I mean, look, like no, you have no options here. And so I feel like a GT themed Golden Week could give Superclass the last few characters they really need and then could just buff the heck out of the extreme class side of things. So personally, what I would do if, let's say, I was in charge of creating like a demo or mock-up for a Golden Week celebration, honestly, I would probably start out with, and this is kind of debatable. I mean, you can really go either way. Another Super Saiyan 4 would feel a little bit like, okay, we get it. But the dual Dokkan Fest, if we're still being, if they're still going to be TURs, or I guess it could be an LR as well. I think the Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Pan character could definitely work well. It gives Super Saiyan 4 another character without compromising Link, so you can run them alongside this guy. You can run him alongside, all the other Super Saiyan 4 Gokus in the game. So I think that could be a really solid pick because, of course, the name would be different. And then, of course, you would have, your Dokkan original animations for that unit. And then the Extreme Class side could finally be a Dokkan Fest baby. For all of these GT characters, we don't have a standalone Dokkan Fest Baby Vegeta. I think it should start out as Baby Vegeta, and then you can transform into Super Baby 1, transform into Super Baby 2, or it could just be like Super Baby 1. Whatever the case is, it should be a Baby Vegeta that not only leads GT bosses, but buffs the heck out of GT like a crazy support. Something like what the STR Cooler was when he originally dropped all those years ago, or the LR what's his face Turles, right? Because he was really strong, but also supported his team. So I feel like Baby needs to be a character who's super OP on GT bosses, but also supports, like gives damage reduction to GT bosses kind of support. Those two out of the way, I think would be really cool. And then, since dude, the EZAs could go crazy. This guy could easily get an EZA because his Part 1 counterparts already have an EZA. This guy could be really good. All of his restrictions can be changed to simply match GT bosses, which would be really cool because then that'll allow you to run a full, GT bosses team. And then he would be at his strongest on a newly powered up team. So hopefully they think about doing something like that. You can also give an EZA to this unit who for some reason still doesn't have one. They're pretty old at this point. Hopefully the EZA is somewhat affordable. And then you can give an EZA to this character right here. Definitely due for an EZA. Any restrictions, anything you want to add or take away from this character, at least make them extremely powerful. The goal with this celebration should be to buff GT bosses, right? It should be to make GT bosses a runnable team, where you can have 6, 7, 8 options on a team and have them all. Because, like, I'll be real, like, the links for these characters aren't the greatest. Like, you're not going to be taking Omega Shenron or Baby and linking up great with a character like the androids, right? But if they're all, like, supporting, right? If they're all... because this right here is great. If you change this from 1 to 4 key, forget about links, right? You're going to still be sharing a lot of key. You're still going to be getting a lot of stats. So the links are kind of overrated in the sense that if you have a lot of support from their passive, you do not need, you know, characters to link super well. Because again, all the key and everything is coming from the passive anyway, so you'll still be able to get your 12 or 18 or 24 key super soft, depending on, of course, how the team itself is constructed. But they definitely need an EZA. This banner unit desperately needs an EZA, especially because the anniversary characters that this guy dropped with also has their EZA. Then give this banner unit an EZA, right? These 4 characters right here, honestly, if they all got, let's say, because these are like free-to-play characters from like the one of the GT story events, the Baby Saga story events, whatever they're called. They all need, I think this is the TUR for, or is it it's a Super Baby one. This unit needs an awakening and an EZA. These guys need awakenings and EZAs, and this, they could all buff either extreme class or corroded body and mind, or just GT bosses, which I would prefer GT bosses. One could give damage reduction support, one could give, you know, attacks support, one could give defense support. Maybe they all give the same amount of key. That could be really cool. Or maybe they're at their strongest when they're all on the same team. I don't really know, but there's so many options to make GT bosses an actual usable, viable team, and I feel like it is so lacking for no reason. And because we already have this unit in the game, and we've been getting GT buffs here and there, either we're getting GT for like worldwide or something, or now is the time to really buff the team up. Let me know what you think. What would you like to see if we don't get Daima related stuff, and I'll see you in the next one.